Now this roast beef I'm talking about in this video is for making things like sandwiches, something you're gonna chill down and slice thin. So for that, a lot of times you'll use something like a bottom round roast and other cuts. Most of them are very, very lean. But one of my favorite cuts to smoke and use as roast beef is tri-tip. And I've done a ton of tri-tip videos, but I've never done the tri-tip roast beef video, which is roast beef my way, just like the video says. So what I have here is a tri-tip, about a 2-pounder, not too big. And I'm gonna be preparing this using my 110 sear method. I do that in almost all my tri-tip videos. And the thing that differentiates it this time is we're not gonna be eating this today. Once this is done, we're gonna wrap it tightly in foil and it's going in the refrigerator overnight to really chill down, because that's what I'm going for here, that sliced roast beef for sandwiches. But first we're gonna get this seasoned up, and I'm using my smoky sweet rub. I'll put a link in the video description to a video I did on how to make that. Very simple. It's got good surface moisture, don't really need to add any binder, and the butcher did trim this up a bit. There's not a whole lot of surface fat left. A little bit of thin membrane here, that's not gonna hurt anything. So let's go ahead and season this up. All right, that is looking good to me. Let's go fire up the grill. Okay, the Weber kettle is up to temp. My target temp today is 250 degrees, but honestly, really that temperature can be a little higher, a little lower, because for this, we're aiming for an internal temperature, and you could cook this more quickly if you want, say 275. I've even done it at 300, but sweet spot to me is 250. And I'm using the Mallory Firewall and the Mallory cast iron grate in here. I've got 2 zones. I've got a smaller direct zone because we will be searing this at a certain point. I'm using my 110 sear method, where at 110 degrees internal, we sear it quickly on both sides and return it to the indirect side to finish to 130 degrees. That's when we're gonna pull it and wrap it tightly in foil. So let's go ahead and get our tri-tip on. Gonna get my temperature probe in here. I'm gonna get a piece of post oak on here for some smoke today. All right, let's get our lid on and get smoking. I'll bring you back when we hit that 110 degree internal. All right, we just hit 110 internal. Let's go ahead and give this a sear. First, I need to move my charcoal around a bit here. Get this stirred up. And this sear is just to give it a little bit of extra color. Get the other part of my grate on here. Get our temp probe out temporarily. I want to remember where that was in. And we'll give that a few minutes on each side. This is the color I love on tri-tip. When you can get it that sort of redness, it's just perfect. Now we're going to move this back, indirect. Get our temp probe back in. That's showing 117. That's perfect placement after searing at 110. So I'm going to get the lid back on so we can pull this at 130. All right, we just hit 130 internal. Let's go ahead and wrap this tri-tip. And I'm going to do several wraps of foil on this, probably 3. Again, you want it tight around the tri-tip. And I want it wrapped tight like that and with multiple layers, because I want that heat to dissipate slowly so it tenderizes more as it cools down. Now this is gonna rest until it comes to room temperature. Then it's gonna go in the refrigerator overnight. And then tomorrow, we're gonna slice it up and have some terrific roast beef sandwiches. So before we get our tri-tip out here to slice up into some really nice roast beef, I wanna get the rest of the things ready for our sandwich. Got a nice pretzel bun here that I'm just gonna slice. Get our 2 halves ready. Oh, that looks good. Got a tomato here I want to get a couple slices from. Wiped up. Let's get our tri-tip out here. All right, here's our tri-tip. Now I'm gonna slice these as thin as I can with a knife. I do have a slicer. I could break it out, but honestly, it takes a lot of time to clean, so not everybody has a slicer, so we're just gonna use a knife today. Another thing I wanna mention is the seasoning I used on this is my smoky sweet rub. You can use any seasoning you want on this. You could just do salt and peppers, SPG, any favorite rub you have. This was just what I wanted to do with this to get the flavor that I wanted. Another nice thing about using a tri-tip for roast beef like this is you don't have to have a ton of it. I mean, look at this. Started out at about 2 pounds, probably about 1.75 pounds right now. If you're going for a small family picnic and you want to make some roast beef or roast beef sandwiches, this is the way to go in my opinion. So let's slice in. Oh, there we go. That's exactly what I want. Really nice marbling on this tri-tip. So let's go ahead and cut some slices. Yeah, I'm gonna go as thin as I possibly can here. That is looking gorgeous. Let's make sure we have enough to pile it on. That amount's looking good to me. Let's go ahead and start building this roast beef sandwich. I've got the bottom of my pretzel bun here, and I want to put some Bavarian mustard on this. It's a very flavorful mustard. Next, I want to get some nice green lettuce down here. Now for our roast beef. Get a good pile going here. Nice tomato slice on top. A little bit more of that mustard on the top bun, not a whole lot. And we crown it. And there we go. Roast beef my way in a sandwich built the way that I love it. Let's have a taste. On sandwiches like this, I always wonder if I should cut it in half, and today I am going to cut this in half. Oh yeah. Cheers. Whichever cut you decide to use, sometime in the future, make roast beef for yourself. You will not be disappointed. And if you want it to be easy and quick, tri-tip is the way to go. That is absolutely delicious.